Guys, so in today's episode we'll be learning about loops. So the question to ask is, what are loops? So loops are basically tools or structures that help us navigate list of items or probably a dictionary. But in intricate details, loops are just objects or structures that help us navigate through a large data set. So what do I mean? In C# we have two types of loops. We have the for loop and we have the for each loop. So in the for loop is used when you need to access an individual or a particular item of a particular data in a series of data sets, but you need to access it by that particular object itself. So for instance, if I have a list of students and I'm looking for Shade, basically I can move through the list of students and find Shade. Okay, but in the for, I'm going to use the index to actually achieve Shade. So in the for, I'm using the index to loop through, but in the for each loop, I'm using the object itself to loop through. So in the for, you can say for each item in, so now I'm going to declare a new list. In this list, let's call it let's make it a list of integer, and I will initialize it to probably 1 2 3 4 5. Let's stick with that. Okay, then we want to console.log each of those items. So console.writeLine item. So as you can see, we are looping through the object itself. If I were to put my cursor on this, you see that this is an integer. So this is the object we are using to loop through this data set. So let's go ahead and run our code. I'll go ahead and click run. And beautiful, you can see that it has printed out all our objects. The same code here can be achieved with the for loop. And how can we do that with the for loop? Very easy. So we can come here and say for. And remember, I said in the for loop we are using the index to achieve to actually access the particular object. So for I is equal to 0, you can say I is less than the list, the length of the list. Okay, better still, let's put this list in a new variable. So all I'm trying to do now is I want to put the list in a separate variable so we can always reuse it. So we can say var list is equals to this, and I'll go ahead and use list right here. I'll also go ahead and use list right here, but this time I'll use list dot count. I'm going to count it, loop through it, so I can actually access and say console.writeLine list. So I'm going to access it, the list data set, by the index that we are going to use here. So as you can see, in the for loop we are actually using the index. We are starting from 0, which means the first element in the list, and we are actually initializing it up to where it is less than the count. So where it is list minus 1, the length of the list minus 1, which is I, and we are using I to access the list object, and we are printing it in the console. Beautiful. Let's go ahead and run our code. As you can see, starting from here, we have the same results as previous. Thank you, and don't forget to subscribe.